You are listening to Love, Light, Lonnie, the podcast. I'm Lonnie Nishiyama, and join me as we discover the gifts that live within all of us and how these gifts bring us together to love, help others, inspire, and of course, vibrate higher. Welcome to Love, Light, Lonnie. Hi, it's Lonnie again, and I am here to talk to you guys about something totally different because I'm sure you're sick of talking about love and spiritual stuff. Although every time I do a podcast, it tends to go back to that. So we'll probably go back to that. But I just wanted to do a quick one about my experience this morning, which was dealing with the discipline of my children, mainly one of them. But both of them, like even last night I had, one with my son, with my daughter. But how do you keep your cool when they are driving you crazy? And I always thought I would never be the mom to just scream or do anything, like no drastic measures. If you just talk to them like adults, they'll understand. Well, that's not true, and I totally lost my cool this morning. I remember actually when I was in college, I went to a school called USC. Um, barely remember it. Not that's not too good. But I went to USC and I had a neighbor that lived next door to us. We lived in this huge house with a bunch of girls. And I remember one day I could hear this family that lived next door to us down the street. Well, they were next door, but like it was just kind of far apart. So it was like down the street. And I could hear from hundreds of feet away this mom literally screaming at her kids. And I was like, that is so inappropriate. I would never do that. What kind of person does that? My mom never really yelled at me. She just gave me the look, And it's like, and then my dad was a little more of a disciplinary figure, but I just never thought that it would be something that I would do, and I kind of judged other moms for it. And then I had kids, so here we are. And it's so crazy because as much as I've worked on myself with my peers and my family members and my elders and just people I'm around all the time, I've learned to really like keep my cool and not let things really ruffle my feathers because it's not about me. It's just what they're going through that day. And so I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But I became a mom and realized my kids can drive me crazy. And when you love something so much, it's like you're so invested. You're so emotionally attached to them that when they're upset, you're upset. And then you get angry. It just becomes this whole thing. So I lost my cool this morning. I felt really bad. I was screaming. I was not my normal Lonnie self. And then I dropped them off at school and I got in my car and I cried. And then I was late to my workout. And then I realized maybe I should do a podcast about this because if I'm going through this, maybe I am the only person in the world going through this, but me and the lady that lived down the street from me at USC. But I think it's just that I'm a normal mom and a normal human going through emotions. And because I'm sensitive and I'm very empathic, it's like I can feel what my kids are going through. So when they're frustrated, I'm frustrated. When they're happy and lovey, I'm happy and lovey. Like it's that whole thing. So I'm very connected to my kids. And because of that, I really lost my cool this morning. And I feel still really bad. But as much as I've worked on myself with other human beings and adults in my life, maybe this is another lesson for me, as if I didn't have enough lessons. So this is a lesson for me to work on keeping my cool and not losing when my kids are going insane. And I don't even think that they were that out of control. I think it was just I'm not used to them getting to that level and I didn't know how to handle it. And my husband wasn't here, so I just kind of like lost my mind. And I don't like seeing myself like that. Like I have a temper. I know I do. Everyone does. And I haven't felt that way since I was like a kid. But then I was like, oh, because when you're a kid, you have all these emotions. You don't know how to control them. You don't know your boundaries. You don't know how to interact with other people, yet you're still learning. That's the whole point. And then I was like, oh, they're just learning, and I should be helping them set those boundaries and understand what's happening. So I failed this morning, but then it was important because I realized it was meant to be in order for me to recognize this and work on it. I am now in a different chapter of my life where, okay, maybe I've figured out how to handle my peers and I don't want to deal with their stuff or their crap. But now I have to deal with my children and their temperaments and how to interact with them and teach them and guide them. Because we're very different. My children are very different than me. I'm a Pisces, as I've said a million times. And I think every spiritual person on a podcast or YouTube or tarot or whatever people are doing, they tend to, a lot of us are Pisces or have Pisces in our chart. So it's just the woo-woo thing. But my kids are Virgos and they're very grounded, but they're also very strong and they're leaders. And it's a lot. I was raised by Virgos and now I'm raising Virgos. So that was meant to be too. And me and my Pisces husband are just trying to figure it out. And I even got in my car after my workout and I called my husband and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I lost my cool this morning. This is what happened. And he's like, it's fine. It happens. You didn't do anything wrong. You know, people make mistakes and people lose their cool and your kids still love you. You love them. You know, you'll figure it out. I'm like, okay. I don't know why he's so wise about that stuff, but he is. He's very calm. Well, he has a point. And then it's like, okay. But overall, he's the most chill person ever. So I'm really grateful to have him ground me that way. But I wanted to just share this with you because there's so many moms out there that and dads and who aliens, whatever, that are parents just trying to figure it out. And I want to make sure that whoever I'm raising is doing it better than the way I did it, you know, because it's like you always want to give your kids what you didn't have. So like whatever that means to you, like maybe you were raised with a screaming parent and you don't want to be that. But then you also don't want to go to the other extreme where you're like, sure, just do whatever you want, because then if there's no boundaries, then your kids are just going to escape in the middle of the night when they're 16 years old and get into someone's car and do something, I don't even know, go to a party. I don't know. So, which is probably going to happen to me. I need security cameras. I'm going to get everything. Also, I learned that you can track your AirPods. So if my kids are like, you can't track me or my phone, I'll be like, I'm going to track your AirPods. Yeah, I really thought about that. And my husband and I have even been like, should we chip our kids? But that's not a thing yet for civilians. So I'm pretty sure it violates a lot of like privacy laws and like just normal, you know, basic human decency and whatever. So I have decided I'm going to work on myself. And the minute I did this, I looked at Instagram. There are all these videos that pop up, right, normally, but it was like continuous video after video of moms being like, I lost my cool and it's so hard to be a parent and parenting is not easy and like all these. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, the universe is speaking to me right now. Like God knows I'm suffering. So he's giving me all these. And by he, God could be a she. There's no masculine or feminine energy around it, but I'm not judging that. So it's whatever you believe in. But the universe was giving me that to kind of be like, look, yes, you feel bad. Yes, you're being a little hard on yourself right now. And so this is happening, but it's normal. Moms have guilt about that. The mom guilt thing is real. Mom guilt is real. Whether you are leaving your kids at preschool too long and you pick them up too late, or they get sick and then the teacher's like, how could you let your kid get sick and bring them here? It's like I'm always feeling guilty about this stuff. And then now I feel guilty about yelling at them. So I just feel like it's never going to end. But it's part of the lesson and what I signed up for. So I must learn it and I must do it. And the really cool thing about this is that I actually feel like this lesson for me is important in this time in my life because there are so many people around me having babies and so many friends that have little small children. And sometimes I'll be like, Lonnie, well, what do you do? And it's like, sometimes I think I come across like I know everything, but I don't. And it's very humbling to be put in this position and be like, I'm not perfect. We're all going through something. Whether you're a parent, whether you're not a parent, we're all going through it and we're trying to figure it out. And you can give advice to other people and you can do all these things and like read your blogs and do all the books. And I've read all the books, let me tell you, on parenting. And I've read every blog and tried to figure out every way. And it's just, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you're going to do what you're going to do and you have to learn yourself and then you have to apply it yourself. But as long as you keep trying to learn and striving for greatness and striving for improving yourself, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We're never going to be perfect. Who cares? So you just do the best you can and you be happy and you love yourself and you love the people around you. And I make mistakes too. And I work really hard on protecting my energy. And when I don't feel safe in an energy, I kind of put a shield up or a wall. And I've loved that wall for so many years. But it's not always a good thing either. You know, it's sometimes good to let the wall down and let people in your life, good or bad. But you'll always learn something from everything. So I have a friend, actually, one of my best friends. I'll just say your name, Dahlia. And then she's so open and loving and giving and like wants to receive love and all of that. And I'm not that way. And so, you know, we have a lot in common, but not that. And it's something I really admire about her. And she's very brave and very courageous and very just this like not naive, but like this innocence about her that I love. And I wish I could work on that part of myself a little bit more. So that's all I had to say. You're all doing a great job. I'm a mom and I screw up too. So here's to learning, being a better parent, and knowing that we are all in this together. Sending you love and maybe a glass of wine tonight. Okay. Bye-bye.